What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're doing a What's Next on former world champion Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison came out of nowhere after dropping out of the top 10 at the end of 2021. He came out of nowhere and dominated Sergio Garcia over 10 rounds to a unanimous decision, and has thrown himself seriously back in the mix of a 154-pound division that really has turned back over. That was such an impressive performance out of Harrison. He fought Brian Perella after coming back from the knockout loss to Charlo. He fought Brian Perella and came up, fought to a draw. Came up short in that one, fought to a draw last year. So people had really written Tony Harrison off, and Tony Harrison came out and showed that they shouldn't have, that people should have more faith in him by dominating Sergio Garcia, it was a credible and nice win, because Garcia had just given Sebastian Fundora all he could handle back in December, and really was, there was a lot of people, myself included, picking Garcia to beat Tony Harrison. So the fact that Tony Harrison not only won the fight but dominated the fight was impressive. And now the big question is, what's next for Tony Harrison following that victory? And I think Tony Harrison has a lot of options. Let's run through the top 10. Excuse me one second. We're going to start with a third fight with Jermell Charlo. Following a win like the win over Garcia, I'm leaning towards the less likely, but I wouldn't completely rule it out if Charlo beats Castaño, in their rematch coming up here in May. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm leaning towards the less likely. I think Tony Harrison needs to build that fight up a little bit more before a rubber match could happen. But again, wouldn't completely rule it out either. Number 2, Brian Castaño. Brian Castaño is the undefeated WBO champion. If he were to pull off an upset here, if he were to defeat Jermell Charlo and become the undisputed champion, his options are limitless. He could really fight whoever he wants. And, I wouldn't completely rule out fighting a former champ like Tony Harrison, because I don't think he's going to want Fundora, and I don't think, and I'm not sure about Tim Tszyu, even though that's a makeable fight. I'm leaning towards the less likely, because I think Castaño might want to do something bigger than Tony Harrison, but you can't completely rule it out. He is a former champ that also holds a win over Charlo, so you never know. Then you have Sebastian Fundora. Would love to see this fight, and am not going to rule it out. And the reason why is because Fundora is, in my opinion, is likely going to be moving up to 100, and he's likely going to be moving up. He's likely going to be upgraded to full WBC champion, because it's not likely that the winner of Castaño and Charlo is going to want to fight Sebastian Fundora, because he is coming off of that dominating performance, and because of his size and his skill, I just don't see anybody wanting to, the winner of those two already wanting to get in the ring with him. Actually, Charlo has already said that he's not fighting Fundora next. So if that's the case, and Fundora is left out hanging, but he is the WBC champion, that's a title that Tony Harrison held, why not fight a guy like Tony Harrison if he can't find anybody else? And he's a PBC guy. It might be hard for him to get some of the other serious PBC guys to want to fight him. So I think it's a very good possibility that that these two guys fight in the second half of the year. So, mark my words, this fight definitely can happen. Next up is Erickson Lubin. Highly doubt Lubin, coming off that loss, would want to come back against a guy like Tony Harrison. I think Lubin's going to be out of action for a while following that defeat. That was a tough one on him. He really got beat down, and I just don't see Lubin wanting to come back against, and I don't think the PBC would want to make that matchup right now. So I'm going to lean towards a no. You got Tim Tszyu, the undefeated WBO #1 contender. I wouldn't rule it out, but I think Tszyu is going to have to deal with mandatories, or he might get the winner of Charlo Castaño in the second half of the year. If he doesn't, he's gonna have to fight for the vacant WBO title against somebody, and I don't think Tony Harrison's gonna be that somebody. So I'm leaning towards the no on that one. And then following that now is a showdown with Terrell Gausha. Gausha's coming off the loss to Tim Tszyu. I think that's a step back and a risky fight in terms of styles as well for Tony Harrison. So I'm not seeing that fight at all. I don't see those two guys locking horns. And then you got, we already discussed Fundora. You got Sergio Garcia, the rematch. Tony Harrison has no reason to fight Garcia again. He dominated him. I don't see that one. And then Magomed Kurbanov, he's in line to fight for likely get a shot at the WBO belt. Liam Smith is a DAZN guy with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, so I'm not seeing that one. And then Patrick Teixeira is out there in the top 10, but I don't think, right at the back of the top 10, but he's also a Golden Boy guy, so I don't see that one being possible. So, a lot of options here for, for Tony Harrison. Especially if he wants to fight one of those bigger name guys, he probably could. But I definitely see Tony Harrison getting a good sized fight next. I wouldn't be surprised if it's for the WBC title against Sebastian Fundora, to be honest. So just pay attention, see what's going on. And that's the what's next on Tony Harrison, the former WBC super welterweight champion of the world at 154 pounds. If you liked the video, smash the like button, leave me a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any support. And this is True Boxing. 1 second, guys. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.